Hi, my name is Mary Heacock. I'm the Chief Fund Engineer of Therapy Fund. Or another way to think about it is I'm just an insane lady sitting in a wheelchair thinking of ways to create more work for myself. I am Mary, just Mary, not Mrs. Heacock. That's my mother-in-law. I don't answer to that. If you absolutely have to call me something else, make it Queen Mary. You can find out all about Queen Mary on my blog. My blog site is therapy-fund.org. And you can also email me there if you need to get a hold of me. So what this talk is about is I'm going to tell you a little bit about how my story of how I came to understand and to live again. And the other half is about Therapy Fund and why I'm starting and what it will do for the community. First of all, my story we'll start with, and then we'll intersperse them. I used to have fun. You see the Jeep here? That was my primary mode of transportation. It had a hardtop and a soft top, and my primary goal with this vehicle was to see how muddy I could get it after I washed it. I was pretty good at it. The other thing that we did with this vehicle was on weekends we tried to put it in the prettiest place we could find it. I have to tell you, this was by far one of our hardest trips up, and it was really quite beautiful. The other picture is a picture of me rock climbing. I used to rock climb indoors, outdoors, it didn't matter. I like hikes. And the final picture is just me and my kids out on a hike. We hiked constantly. My kids are extremely active. We enjoy an active lifestyle. And then, as is wont to do, MS bit, and it bit hard. I had MS in all of those other pictures, but it just really didn't slow me down much. I'm not one to slow down unless I absolutely have to, and MS decided that I absolutely had to. So, we honestly believed that I was going to die, and we gathered the family and said, what do we need to do? And, pretty much the consensus was, we just need to make Mom happy. So, what did Mom want to do? I wanted a glass blow. I know, it's not normal. If it's normal, I don't do it. But, I found a coupon for hot glass blowing class in the hot shop. And we went in, my oldest son took me. We had an absolute ball. We made tons of ornaments and stuff and bowls and stuff. And I was so entranced by it that my husband started looking for a hot shop for the house. Well, you can't do hot shop at home, really. I mean, there are some who do it, but not just for fun. We did, however, find a torch, and a woman was selling off a good deal of her torch work stuff that we got for an extremely reasonable price, and she changed my life. I all of a sudden had something to live for, something I could do. I could pull my wheelchair straight in there and do it. So I made about, a couple hundred pieces for my niece's wedding, and in about 6 months or so. And after 6 months, I was totally bored, so it was time to do something else. What would that be? I guess you're going to have to wait, huh? Anyway, who are we? Therapy Fund is an organization by and for the disabled. Our vision is to provide the motivation and means for the disabled to lead a more full and happier life. My epiphany came with skydiving, but we see Therapy Fund as a tool for everyone. Learning and experiencing are the keys. Some may choose to go to the beach, another may choose to go to a writing workshop. It's about helping people reach their full potential, and it is so simple to help. I sat down and spent maybe 10 minutes just coming up with things that just sounded fun to me. This is the list that I came up with. It has nothing to do with Therapy Fund's list or anything like that, because you guys determine what we need to do with Therapy Fund, not me. Um, all of these things, believe it or not, I have arranged that we can do it in a wheelchair. And I have friends willing to help and go with this as we speak. So come up with your list. I highly recommend taking a magazine, cutting out pictures, just drawing little pictures, using words, whatever. Make a goal, and then we'll work towards. Well, Mama wanted to go skydiving. My birthday was coming up, and I had planned on going skydiving when I was pregnant with Derek, which is the 6'4" kid in the back there. He's now 17 years old, almost 18, graduating this year. So I delayed skydiving for a bit, but when we called them and said, "Can this happen?" They said, "Absolutely, come out and we'll make it happen." And they were absolutely fantastic. What we do, we just smooth out the bumps, just enough to let the funnies, what we call the participants, to experience life more fully. The truth is, the funners, the volunteers, have every bit as much fun. Okay, this point is, Mary does not go alone. She doesn't do anything on herself, basically, or by herself, basically. But oh boy, do I do a lot. This guy here is Andy Farrington. He is probably the best skydiver in the world. He really is. He's got 19,000 jumps, and I highly recommend, if you're interested at all, go out and Google Red Bull and Andy Farrington, and you'll find some pretty impressive stuff. Andy is the star of the 3D IMAX movie that they are making, and several other things. He's quite impressive. So anyway, we walk out to the plane. I literally, Andy jumps in the plane. Ryan stands me up and hands me to Andy. Andy sets me in his lap. He sits with his legs in a V. We sit on the floor of the plane for deployment. So he sets me in the V of his legs, and he straps me on to those straps you see on his hips. And he then buckles into the airplane, and I don't, because I'm buckled in. I gotta tell you, sitting in Andy's legs is not, and laying on Andy and sleeping and stuff on the way up is not the worst part of skydiving. So anyway, if you're considering it in your mail, we can ask for a fee. Anyway, this is Ryan, and after I get on the plane, we got to deal with the wheelchair, of course. Always got to deal with the wheelchair. So Ryan's bringing the wheelchair back to the skydive hangar. And the next time that I went skydiving, my son and husband were in the plane with me. And a person from the dive center had to take the wheelchair back. He was trying to drive it by standing next to it, and it really was not working at all. The whole plane was just exploding with laughter because it was so funny watching him. And eventually Ryan says, "Dude, just sit in it." The kid had more fun taking my wheelchair back to that hangar than I think he had all day skydiving. I can pretty much guarantee that. So, why do we do this? Because fully people just don't fully understand what this can mean to someone with physical disabilities. I personally have experienced this myself. A close friend passed away recently. We had a gathering to spread her ashes. I would not have been able to participate at all if friends had just had it grab my wheelchair and manhandled it over and around the bulkhead. Little things make a huge difference. By the way, I think that may be when I bent my axle. Or it could have been on the hikes. Who knows? Picture's pretty self-explanatory. One of the interesting things about this picture is when we go to get out of the airplane, we have to stop and pose for our cameraman. And then our cameraman falls backwards right below us. and gets this picture. Anyway, as we were posing for our picture in the plane, Andy's bottom was firmly in the plane and mine was firmly out of the plane. So I was really, really ready to go. And if you can see that smile on my face, I've waited a long time for this. The reality is, first thing that everybody wants to know, don't you just eat your lunch again or something? Or doesn't your stomach just come up and just, I mean, isn't it just horrible? No. It doesn't at all. And I know that sounds ridiculous. I understand where you're coming from. But if you think about it from a physics standpoint, the plane is going 150 miles per hour straight forward. And when we jump out of it, we're jumping at 100 miles an hour. And then we eventually reach a maximum of 150 miles an hour. So it's about like accelerating to get onto the freeway. It's nothing severe like most people expect. The other thing is they think you're just flopping around out in space as you come down, which is not true at all. It is very similar to swimming through very heavy rapids, like if you were trying to, like if you didn't have a kayak and were coming down a river, sort of. It is not particularly comfortable. It is exciting just because of the wind force, but it's not my favorite part, although I do like it. Okay, so we'll continue. Hey, I get to be the beauty in this outfit. You guys are the brains in the back. We have a short philosophy course that all funny and funners read. It gives us shared goals and just a glimpse of the disabled life. But it also removes a few excuses for the disabled. In our opinion, the absolute most vital piece of the program is to pay it forward. Only in helping others can you help yourself. The ultimate compliment is to be a funny. You see the big blob in the center that's roughly airplane-shaped? Well, that would be the airplane. Do you see there's a teeny little speck that really looks like dirt on the camera lens? That would be me and Andy. It gives you a little bit of a different perspective. Here's where I cannot emphasize enough the dichotomy, I suppose, of skydiving. I am so, in humans' eyes, I'm jumping out of a plane at over 2 miles above the earth. I swim through the air, and I land safely. That's pretty darn powerful. But you see me there? That's pretty darn insignificant. That is what skydiving is. And every single time I jump, I feel this dichotomy of pure adrenaline and, I mean, I see the curvature of the earth when I come out of the plane. It's really impressive. And I haven't yet learned to process all of those feelings. But I don't feel too bad because a lot of my friends who have 10,000 plus jumps can't do much better than I. So I suppose I'm in with a good crowd. So I have no shame whatsoever, obviously. I will shamelessly play the cripple card. Here's what I need from you. First thing I want is join a fun fulfillment group. Fun fulfillment groups are something similar to a support group. However, they are goal-driven, and at the end of the set time, we perform our goal. So, as an example, I will be leading a skydiving support group. A lot of people are really just afraid of skydiving, but are extremely interested. We'll work through our course. We'll talk about the fear involved. We'll talk about the realities involved. And we will actually work on getting our clients more comfortable and familiar with the idea so that it won't be as frightening, but yet it'll still be as empowering. Second thing, super duper easy, no reason for you guys not to do this. You all are on the internet, so go sign up for my blog and also sign up for my Facebook page. Facebook page is just little inspiring pass-alongs. I don't put a lot of junk out there. One a day is typically max for me. And blogs, the good news is I have holes in my brain. I have a very short attention span. I can't write much more than a paragraph and pay attention to it. So, you're in luck. Big one here. Attend my kickoff party on June 22nd. I want to see all of you. I would absolutely love to see each and every one of you jump out of an airplane with me. However, I realize that's not very practical, so we will have plenty of fun on the ground. There will be games and excitement, and my parties are always a blast. Just ask any of the kids. Kids always want to come back to my parties. Another thing is I want to explore an idea for a TV show. If any of you have any idea of how I might be able to do that, can you think of anything funnier than, forget throw mama from the plane. Let's throw cripples from the plane. I'm sure I've got a hit on my hands. And last, but absolutely not least, I have absolutely no idea of what I'm doing. I think this is a good idea, and my friends are working and pushing me in the correct direction. But let's face it, I got holes in my brain. There's just only so much I can do. So, if you want to see the therapy fund go, you'll help me out. If you don't think so, we'll just keep having fun without you, and we'll be waiting here for when you are ready to help. And I know you have been just dying to hear this. I came in for a lovely soft landing. Okay, here's the deal, folks. I wasn't afraid of jumping out of an airplane. I've wanted to do that for years. Heights do not scare me. None of that really bothered me. I trusted Andy. And I got to tell you, if you want to skydive, go with someone you trust and trust them. Because there's nothing else you can do. And I can tell you, trusting Andy was the best decision I'd ever made. I basically had passed out, and he's cradling me there as he lands. He stands on his feet. He just stands there and holds me like a baby. His mom was there to receive me. They were just an incredible group. And just in case you wanted to know, okay, during my first flight, everything that I had feared might go wrong basically did. I have stomach problems, I have bowel problems, I have bladder problems, I have everything. And yes, a lot of that happened, but it just doesn't matter. The emotions that you experience in flight, I can't even describe them. And it is like a drug in that I keep going back just so I can try and figure out what that feeling is that I like so much. Anyway, thank you for coming or for listening to my podcast here. And if you need to get a hold of me in any way, remember my website, www.therapyfund.org. Have a fun day.